You know that friend, the one who cancels again, sick again, tired again, something came up again. Maybe next time, which both of you know, probably means never. Here's what everyone gets wrong about that person. They're not avoiding you. They're not lazy. They're not secretly miserable or afraid of life. They're protecting something. Something most people don't have a name for yet. Something that, once you understand it, makes complete psychological sense. If you're someone who gets genuinely more excited about a Friday night in pajamas than a Friday night out, welcome. You are about to feel very seen. Because what society calls boring, what your extroverted friends call a waste of a weekend, science calls something else entirely. Here's the thing about energy. It doesn't work the same way for everyone. Extroverts recharge by being around people. The noise, the movement, the spontaneous conversation, all of it fills them up. Take it away, and they feel flat, restless, like something important is missing. But for introverts, and for the broader population of people who simply prefer solitude, every social interaction, even an enjoyable one, costs something. It draws from a reserve that doesn't refill itself in a crowded room. The only charger that actually works is stillness, quiet, home. Psychologists call this optimal arousal theory. Every nervous system has a threshold, a level of stimulation where it feels most alive, most functional, most itself. For some people, that threshold is high. They need noise and movement and unpredictability to feel engaged. For others, the threshold is lower. Too much stimulation doesn't energize them. It overwhelms them. And the body, very efficiently, learns where to go to recover. This isn't a personality flaw. It isn't fear dressed up as preference. It is simply how their nervous system is wired at a level far below conscious choice. But there's more going on than just introversion. Because for many people who love staying home, the deeper reason is something the science of introversion doesn't fully capture. It's control. Out there in the world, at the party, in the restaurant, the environment is unpredictable. Loud strangers appear without warning. Plans shift at the last minute. Small talk happens with people who ask how you are and have already stopped listening before you answer. The sensory landscape changes constantly, and you have almost no influence over any of it. But at home, you control the lighting, the temperature, the noise level, the pace of the afternoon, who is there and who isn't, whether the music plays and what it is, whether the evening moves fast or slow or not at all. For people with high sensitivity or anxiety, that control isn't comfortable. It's oxygen. Researchers have found that individuals with heightened sensory processing, a trait that affects roughly 15 to 20% of the population, experience the external world at a higher intensity than most people. Crowds don't just feel crowded, they feel like too much of everything is arriving at the same time. Home isn't a retreat, it's regulation. And here's something that will surprise the people who have been calling you boring. Studies consistently show that people who are comfortable spending time alone, genuinely comfortable, not just tolerating it, score significantly higher on measures of creativity, introspection, and complex problem solving. Not because solitude makes them smarter, because solitude gives them the uninterrupted mental space that crowded, stimulating environments take away. The best ideas don't usually arrive in the middle of a party. They arrive in a quiet room, in the margins of an afternoon with no agenda. In the thought spiral at 2 a.m. that everyone else calls insomnia and you recognize as the only hour, your brain finally has enough silence to work through something properly. And let's be honest about what society is actually selling when it tells you that you should be out there. The influencer photos, the going out content, the live your best life narrative that always seems to require a crowd and a drink. What it's really selling is the idea that experience only counts if it's visible. That joy only matters if someone else can confirm it happened. But what if your best life is a good documentary, a bowl of something warm, and absolutely zero obligations? That's not a consolation prize. That's self-knowledge. And most people spend years chasing external validation before they figure out what you already know. If any of this is landing, if you're recognizing yourself in what we're describing, go ahead and like this video, It helps more people find this conversation. And if you want to keep exploring the psychology behind how we're wired and why, subscribe. There's a lot more of this work coming. Now here's where it gets important. Because not everyone who stays home is doing it from the same place. And the difference between those two places matters more than most people acknowledge. There's a version of this that's healthy, where home is the place your energy refills, where solitude is genuinely pleasurable, not empty, not heavy, just quiet in the way that feels right, where turning down an invitation doesn't produce guilt or relief so much as a simple, undramatic preference for being here instead of there. And then, there's another version, where home becomes a cage that looks like a sanctuary, where the reason you don't go out isn't preference, it's that leaving feels like too much to carry, where social anxiety sits quietly in the corner of every plan you cancel, where depression whispers that there's no point anyway, and eventually you stop arguing with it. Both versions look identical from the outside. Same canceled plans, same Friday nights in, same answer when someone asks what you did this weekend. But one of them fills you up, and one of them shrinks you. The question, and only you can answer it honestly, is which one you're actually in. Do you stay home because it restores you? Or because going out requires something you're not sure you have right now? Because one is peace, the other is hiding. And the difference between them is worth paying attention to. For the people in the first group, the genuine homebodies, the ones who are in there right now, making no apologies for a quiet Saturday, here is what their inner life actually looks like. And it's nothing like what people assume. They notice things. Small things that the constantly moving, constantly stimulated world blurs past. The exact quality of light in the room at 4 in the afternoon in November. The ritual of the first coffee, not just the drinking of it, but the whole sequence, the sounds, the smell before the taste. The particular comfort of a specific corner of the couch that has become, over time, undeniably theirs. Psychologists call this low stimulation preference. But that phrase doesn't quite capture it. What it actually means is that the inner world is rich enough to be interesting on its own. That the contents of a quiet afternoon, a book, a thought, a window, a memory, are genuinely sufficient. Not settling, sufficient. These people are not waiting for life to start. They are not killing time until something better comes along. They have found something most people exhaust themselves searching for in external places. They found it at home. So if you're someone who turns down invitations without guilt, who feels genuinely restored on a solo Saturday, who would rather understand something deeply than experience something loudly, who has learned that peace is not the absence of excitement, but a specific kind of fullness that noise tends to interrupt. You're not broken. You're not boring. You're not making excuses or missing the point of being alive. You are wired for depth over noise, for presence over performance, for the kind of life that looks small from the outside and feels enormous from the inside. The world will keep telling you to get out more, that you're wasting your evenings, that you'll regret the memories you didn't make. But you know something the world hasn't figured out yet. The most important things that ever happened to you, the realizations, the clarity, the moments when you finally understood something true about yourself, almost none of them happened in a crowd. They happened here, in the quiet, at home. Do you stay home because it genuinely fills you up, or has the line between peace and hiding ever blurred for you? Leave it in the comments. You might be surprised how many people reading your answer right now are asking themselves the exact same question.